Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Look Back, a series where I go back and look through reviews that I did 1, 5, 10, and 20 years ago and tell you what I think about those reviews or games now, if I think about them at all. So let's get started with a year ago. So last year I reviewed a couple terrible games. Rules Benders, which is a game in which you will get to change the rules of the game. Which sounds like Flux, but it's this big giant Euro game in which you're moving all these pieces around. But you know what? It's still really chaotic and crazy and lucky. It's just terrible. 3 out of 10. Sherlock Case Connection. Lucky duck. Sherlock. This seems like it'd be a slam dunk. And unfortunately, this is just a really messy, bad, boring connection game with a slapped on intellectual property. 3 out of 10. Simplicity. This is a very simple, tile placement game. That's just too simple for me. I mean, it's just too little. It doesn't feel like there's much game there. 5 out of 10. Dice Theme Park. This is a sequel to Dice Hospital. And there's a lot about this that I like. I like Alley Cats putting out dice and things, but there's a few oddities and weirdnesses to it. And it's just essentially very multiplayer solitaire. But I also have to sit there and wait for you to finish. And I don't even see what you're doing. So basically, we're all sitting there moving stuff around our board. And I'm done, you're done. And then we score. 6.5. There just needs to be a little bit more accountability in the game. G.I. Joe deck building game. This is it's a deck building game. I played. I like it solitaire. Terrible rules, but a fun game, strong theme. 7 out of 10. Veiled Fate. Man, this one almost went up for me. I still really do like this. It has a little bit of a Cosmic Encounter vibe to it. And I played a team variant of it recently, which I thought was a lot of fun. This is an 8 out of 10. And Sniper Elite, the board game. One versus many, a hidden movement style game where you're moving around trying to shoot stuff. And the sniper, I just think it's a really cool game. 8.5. 5 years ago, I took a look at a game from Andrea Stedding, which, again, just missed the mark just a bit. War of the Buttons. Cool art. The whole idea of these kids fighting over buttons is a neat thing. There's just a little bit missing to make it a game that I want to play more often. But I think about this with the theme a lot. 6.5. The Little Flower Shop, a drafting game. I'm a big fan of drafting. This one here, simple passes stuff around from Dr. Finn's games. One of his better games for sure. 7 out of 10. And Tofu Kingdom, a very tiny deduction game that has a funny, silly theme and also can work well with kids. So a 7 out of 10. 10 years ago, I took a look at the gigantic Leviathans. In fact, they just kickstarted a sequel or follow-up to it. This is from Catalyst Games. They're mostly known for battle tech. Leviathans is very similar to that. They had to almost convince me to try this one out. You have these big ships, and then you send out torpedoes at each other. It almost feels like naval combat. It works well. 7 out of 10. And then the Enchanted Tower. Great, great kids game where there's a hidden key on the board, and you're moving around someone, and there's a magnetic thing underneath them trying to find this piece. It's another one versus all, but I like it a lot. 8.5. 20 years ago, I took a look at Kuju, which is a game about spelling. Can you spell a word backwards? Can you spell just the vowels? I think I liked it a little more than I would like it now, so I'm dropping it from a 6 to a 5. And then Affin Raffin. This is a game from Michael Schacht where you're just flipping tiles over and finding matching pairs. Nah, it's fine, but you have to like that kind of thing. 6 out of 10. Well, there you go, folks. Those are reviews I did 1, 5, 10, and 20 years ago. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel, and this is Look Back on the Dice Tower.